one day I was approached by our vice officers, and they asked me to go undercover. And I was like, undercover is what? He said, undercover to buy drugs. And I was like, dude, I can't buy no drugs. I think their UC didn't show up or whatever it was. They needed someone to buy drugs. So I went to the vice office. I put on my regular clothes. They showed me how everything was going to work and all, and we went over the plan and everything. So they sent me to the 1400 block of Chapin Street, which is right, 2 blocks from where the Boys and Girls Club is. I go through the block. They try to teach me the language, the lingo. I knew nothing about drugs, okay? So I go through the block. I see the guys. Matter of fact, Red Rudy. I see him, and oh my God, I can't think of the other guy's name right off, but I see the crew out there in the block. I go down there. Red Rudy looked at me and was like, "Shorty, what you doing, man?" I said, "Man, I'm trying to cop." He looked at me like, "Man, you coach basketball, man. You trying to do what?" He said, "I know you ain't trying to cop." So one of the dudes said, "Man, I know Mitch police now." So they were like, "Man, Shorty ain't no police. He coaching basketball." I said, "Look, all right, man, I'm the police, man. God damn it. But I need some drugs. I need to buy some drugs. Who's selling the drugs?" So they just started laughing and joking and everything. So they said, "Look, see them dudes down the street?" It was some off-brands down the street who I didn't know who they were. So they told me to go down the street where they were. And they knew that the guys were selling dummy bags. I didn't know that because I don't know nothing about drugs. So they send me down the street. I go down the street. I make the purchase and everything. The guy sell me the drug, well, what I thought was drugs. He sell me the drugs and everything. So now I'm all excited. I just made an undercover drug buy. They came. The rest team came, got the guy. They put him in a police car. So then the guy with the drug field test, he showed up. He didn't even test the drugs. He looked at it and said, "Credle, this is not drugs." I'm like, "It is drugs. I just bought the drugs from the dude, man." They said, "Dude, this is soap." And I'm like, "Ooh, okay." So while that was going on, all the other dudes who sent me down there were out there laughing at me. So they sort of like played a little joke on me because they knew damn well I wasn't an undercover police officer. They knew I was Mitch from the neighborhood, coach basketball. So that was my only experience in being undercover as a police officer and trying to buy drugs. And right then and there, I said, "I'm done. I will never, ever do this again." During this time period, coaching youth basketball, we always had needs. We always needed money for a lot of different things. Even though the Boys and Girls Club provided us money for the trips, the uniforms, things like that, there were always guys in the neighborhood that wanted to take care of my teams. And even though I was a police officer, they never gave me money directly. They would always give it to one of the young ladies in the neighborhood to give to me, envelope. I never asked where it came from. I had an idea where it came from, but I didn't want to know where it came from. But they always knew I was going to spend the money on the kids. I always gave the lady back the receipts. I mean, it's not like they was going to write off on their taxes, but I just wanted them to know that I was spending the money properly. So whenever I needed things, drug dealers gave me money for the kids. I think it was their way of sort of kind of like guilt, where they felt as though they were giving back, but they didn't want anyone to know that they were giving back in that particular manner because they knew they can trust me. I wasn't going to tell anyone where I got the money from. But here it was, I was a young police officer, and yes, I was getting money from the guys on the block, guys on the streets, to take care of the kids in the community. $1,000 at a time. Whatever I needed. Kids needed shoes. If a kid needed cleats, it didn't matter. They were there for me, for those kids. And I made sure I kept that separate from the police department. It wasn't like I was trying to hide anything. It's just that when you working with people in the community, you have to be trusted by everyone, not just by the police, not just by the parents. You have to be trusted by the guys on the streets because like I said earlier, that quote, the community will make you, you are as good as the community makes you. And I most definitely wanted to be that way, well-rounded with everyone, including the drug dealers.